everybody, Z Garcia here, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 games that I'm excited to check out at Essen SPIEL 2025 that are exclusively for 2 players. I love 2-player games. It's one of my favorite player counts, and there seem to be a whole lot of good games coming out exclusively for 2 this year. So here's 10 I'm very excited about. They are just alphabetical. I am not ranking these. I'm just going through them alphabetically. And there are 2 that I want to mention as honorable mentions because I've already played these 2. So I'm not really still looking forward to them, but they are fantastic, and I want to make you aware of them in case you don't know. And those are Tag Team, this really fun, vibrant, head-to-head combat game where you are programming your cards, and then Neuroshima Hex Battle, which is the same game as Neuroshima Hex, packaged in a 2-player only version with 2 armies that are not normally available in a core box, giving you a new jumping on point if you've never played. So really recommend that if you are a little intimidated or have never tried Neuroshima Hex, then this is a fantastic way to jump into it. So with those 2 honorable mentions out of the way, let's get to the list proper. Here we go. First up on the list, we've got Celestia Duo. Now, this is a design by Bruno Catala, who did not design the original Celestia, by the way, and it is a cooperative game for 2 players in which the players are attempting to work together in this world and build their aircraft, much like you were, on an aircraft in Celestia, where you're now working together to defend the world of Celestia. It looks very vibrant. It looks very attractive. Bruno Catala, who is a fantastic designer, excels even more when it comes to 2-player games. And so this is one I am really excited by. I enjoy Celestia all right, but I love what this designer tends to do when given a game world and asked to make a 2-player version of that game. And so I'm really psyched for it. Celestia Duel sounds like a blast, looks tremendous, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Next up, I'm talking about Legions here. This is a new game in the Abyss universe, and it just so happens that because I'm doing this alphabetically, this game is also by Bruno Catala, though he is a co-designer here. It's a game he is co-designing with Charles Chevalier, who also co-designed Abyss. But they're bringing into the mix here Johannes Guppy, who I think is also a fantastic designer. All 3 of these designers are very exciting and tremendously good at what they do. So I'm very excited for this game overall. I love the Abyss games. There's already been a couple of them. This is another one that presents a game in which only 2 players, of course, are playing, and you are trying to influence various districts in the game in order to pull out a victory. The game looks tremendous. The rulebook is already available online, so I immediately, when I found that, consumed it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. It seems like it's going to be an absolute blast. So I'm excited for this one. It's near the top of the list for me as something that needs to come back from Essen SPIEL. That is Legions, an Abyss universe game. Next up, I'm talking about Little Kingdoms, which is one of the ones I know the least about, actually. It's from artist and designer David Auslos, and the game looks to be a very simple, very small sort of head-to-head card game in which you are going to be clashing in battle, as the way it's described, and it has really cool looking cards with some symbols across the bottom. That's about as much as I know. It should be 20 to 30 minutes, and the whole thing looks very clever, looks really interesting and vibrant. I'm liking what I've seen here. I like the look of the cover. I like the look of the cards. It has a lot of personality, this game, and I am hoping that it's going to be one that has a nice amount of oomph for a 20 to 30 minute game. Not a lot else I know about this one. It's one I'm going to have to wait and see in person there, but Little Kingdoms sounds like a winner to me, so I'll be checking this one out. Up next, I'm talking about Lost Lumina. Now, this one seems to be a little bit of a bigger game, and you're going to be drafting cards which have various animals with various abilities on them, and then using them to do combat on the board with your characters, with your little wooden meeples. It seems to be, again, very vibrant. I'm liking the look here. The entire thing has a real magic in the woods look to it. It seems very warm and welcoming. And I'm hoping that that is really just belying the fact that it's a head-to-head combat game, because I want it to have some teeth. I want it to be a player interactive combat, hitting each other kind of game, while enjoying, of course, the wonderful look that the cards have. It seems like the kind of game I tend to enjoy, cards with abilities, and then using those things to go at each other. Really excited for this one. Don't know a whole lot else about it. I know it's a re-implementation of a previous game that I am not aware of and have not played. But this new one looks really good. And the publisher Dronda tends to make games that I really, really enjoy. Yeah, this is one I'm really, really looking forward to. I don't know if I said the designer, Julius Su. I don't know their designs, but I am looking forward to what this has to offer. So that is Lost Lumina. Orbita is up next. This is from a designer who specializes in two-player games, from the same designer whose name I believe is G. O'Neill, who has done Jekyll vs. Hyde, who has done The Yellow House, Phantom of the Opera, a few games that all tend to be for two players and all tend to be spins on trick-taking. Well, here is another one. Orbita is a game in which you are going to be playing cards from your hand. You may not rearrange your hand of cards. You are going to be playing planet cards. And depending on when you play and how many you play, you'll be advancing these planets on a board, and their strength is relative to each other based on where they are on that track. Then at the end, you're going to, if you did not take as many cards of kind as your opponent, you flip them face down. Whoever flips the most is going to lose. There's a lot of weird, quirky sort of ideas running at each other here, but I'm really intrigued by this one. I tend to like this designer's games. They're always just a little bit outside the box, just a little bit strange and quirky, and I love that. Plus, this one has a really cool look to it. I love the artwork. I like the vibe here. So it's one I'm very much intrigued by and interested in checking out. That is, like I said, Orbita. Check it out. Up next, I'm talking about Paradise from Andre Silva. This is a dice game in which you are building a pyramid in front of you, not just flat on the surface, but then the dice are going to be building on top of those dice. And the whole thing, to me, kind of looks like this cool 3D Sagrada a little bit, in which you have to make sure you're taking the right die and putting it in the right location. There are, restrictions as to what you can take and place and where you can do those things. It has a really cool look. I like what's going on. I'm not a fan of the name necessarily. Paradise I feel like I've heard that name before, but I like what's happening on the table and in the images I've seen, and I'm very intrigued by this one. I love it when a game uses dice in a funky way like this. This seems like it's going to be an absolute blast to play. So Paradise, for me, I'm psyched about it. I definitely want to see this one in person and wrap my head around how the whole thing works. So there you go. That's one of my picks. Now for what's probably the heaviest of my picks. This is Rival Cities. This is coming out from Pegasus Spiele, Deep Print Games. It is from Andreas Steding, who has made many thinky, deep Euro-style games. And here seems to be another one, a two-player only one, of course, with a lot going on the table, and a theme that is probably not the most interesting theme I'm talking about here today, right? 16th century, it's a small fishing village, and you are, I guess, rivals trying to outmaneuver each other. But the whole thing looks really interesting. It seems like it's going to be nice and crunchy and full of thought and interest. And I am intrigued by what this designer has done before. So I want to see what he's bringing to this game. So that is Rival Cities, one that's going to be a little more demanding of me, and I think just players in general, but one that I suspect will pay dividends once you dive in and get all that good, interesting Euro-y mechanisms and thought processes out of it. So that is Rival Cities. Next up is one of the ones I am the most interested in, I'll admit right now, and this is Marvel Skirmish in New York. The reason I'm excited about this, it's a Matthias Kramer game, who I tend to like, but it's also a remake of a game that I'm a big fan of, though it did not get as much love as I think it deserved, and that's a game called Fight for Olympus, a game that came out some years ago, a 2-player card game. Well, they've taken that game, they've reworked it a little bit, and they added a Marvel theme that I know some people are right now sort of fast-forwarding on this video and skipping over this, but I still love Marvel as a theme, and it's one that I cannot get enough of, especially when it's wrapped around a game I know is already good. That's why I'm so excited about this. The designer, Matthias Kramer, has taken the previous design, tightened it up, cleaned it up in his own, obviously in his own opinion, taken years of feedback and improved upon it, and now bringing it back out with this awesome look and theme. I am really, really psyched to get my hands on this one. I cannot wait to try it out and snag a copy for myself. I think this is one that's going to see a lot of table time for me, just because I liked the original one so much, and with this look and theme, it'll be a lot easier to get it to the table. So there you go. That is Marvel Skirmish in New York. Now we're going to go from one end of the spectrum to the other. We went from Marvel and fighting and all of that stuff in a very splashy way to Torii. This is an abstract strategy game that still has a great look and is very vibrant, but it is going to be a completely abstract and thoughtful game. This is from designer Kuan Chen, and in it you are going to be a spirit who is moving around the table, moving around a board, depositing your followers, trying to get 4 of those in a row so you can build a Torii. And when you build those Torii gates, a certain number of them, you win the game. You can convert each other's followers by following those spaces, jumping into those areas, and then you'll switch who controls that piece. But if you get a Torii deployed, it'll actually go over the little character and protect them, and then they can no longer be switched. It's visually very attractive. The whole thing looks incredibly well made. Has some neat mechanisms when it comes to leaping over each other. You have to move over each other's spirits. You can never share the same row or column. And the whole thing it sounds clever. It sounds engaging. I love X in a row games, like 4 in a row, 5 in a row. But I love it when they bring something distinct to the table. And this game seems to be bringing something distinct to the table. So I cannot wait to check it out. That is Torii, and that is one of my picks. And speaking of my picks, this is my last pick. This is a game called A Wild Venture. It is from Pika Games and designer Ian Everett. And it just looks bizarre because it has this sort of Adventure Time aesthetic to it. The game describes itself as a fast-paced, strategic 2-player game in which you're not building engines, you are dismantling them, okay? Every card sort of has this bizarre look like it's from a failed trading card game or something, not in a bad way, just in an obtuse kind of way. And yet, I'm really psyched about this one. I love combo-rific card games in which you, in this one you have a shared deck of cards. You're going to be playing cards out, triggering those abilities. Cards with abilities is absolutely my jam. And then you wrap it around this vibrant, silly sort of world, and I want to lean in and check it out. It seems to be, as they're describing it, delightfully wild. So I want to see what the game brings to the table. I am curious by everything it's doing, and it seems to have more depth and more going on than the cover and the look would lead you to believe. So that's what I want to see. I want to get in closer and check out what it's offering. That is A Wild Venture. And that's it for me, everybody. That's 10 games for 2 players that I'm excited to check out at Essen SPIEL 2025. Let me know in the comments below what I missed. What games are you looking forward to that play specifically for 2 and you know you love them, you want to go check them out. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for tuning in and checking this out. My name is Z Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching another video here on the Dice Tower. We really appreciate you stopping by and checking our things out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And hey, if you really like what we're doing here at the Dice Tower, then there are different ways to support the Dice Tower. One of those ways is through Patreon. We have links in the description to this video, and we have links to lots of other things we do down there, so definitely check it out. But either way, we're glad you watched us. Tell your friends about the Dice Tower. Until next time, though, I'm Tom Vassell, and I hope you enjoyed this video.